welcome to the Sports Study Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by nobody. So today, as we it's Friday, can you believe it? I mean, I feel like I just woke up and it was Monday morning. Now it's Friday. Like, what the hell is going on out there? Anyway, so a couple sports things we might talk about, maybe not if I get to it. So we got Marshawn Lynch reaches the plea deal on his 2022 DUI arrest. We're not going to talk about that, but it's just something to mention. Justin Fields wants to stay a Chicago Bear, but it's a business. So he understands that if the Bears make a business decision to trade his ass, he understands, but he would love to be a Chicago Bear. Now, who the heck, when's the last time a guy said he wanted to be a Chicago Bear? I think that alone should tell the Chicago Bears to keep him. Think about it. And here's another thing, because if they get rid of him, it's because they're like one of the top quarterbacks. I want to be quite frank with you guys. Caleb Williams ain't the answer. No offense to the guy out in USC. He might be a good quarterback. I doubt it. I think it's going to be a bust. He ain't the answer. And you better off keeping Justin Fields and building around him. Go out and add another receiver, maybe even sign a receiver. You got more. Get him another weapon and run it back. And at least run it back. And if it doesn't work out this year, you can always move him or just let him walk. Because at least I think Fields is going to have his best season this year, knowing that he's going to be up for he's going to be due for a huge payday. I think you take advantage of that. Now, you can say, well, should you try to get a franchise quarterback? The problem is these guys are not franchise. There's none of these guys at the top of this draft are franchise quarterbacks for the long haul. I think the best bet is to stick with Fields. He wants to be a Bear. So even if he has his best season, you pay him and you hope for the best. It's a risk. It's a risky move either way. You could say, well, you can get the young quarterback and have him under the reasonable contract for the next few years. Yeah. But if he ain't any good, then you're stuck with a number one pick. That sucks. At least we know Fields can play in the NFL. We don't know if these guys can play. Now, has Fields reached his full potential? No. So, if you haven't reached your full potential with Fields yet, what makes you think you're going to do it? How many years is it going to take for Caleb Williams to reach his full potential? And the coaching staff and the GM may not even be around to see that. Because if they fuck up with Fields and they say, okay, we're going to get rid of him, get some assets, and draft Caleb, you're on the clock. How many years do you think you're going to get with Caleb if he doesn't work out right away? He's a top pick, meaning that the pressure is going to be on for you to get results pretty quickly. So I say you keep Fields, you beef up the offensive line, you go out and get a weapon, and you got a couple picks in the top. You could do a lot of different things. You could do some things with that. You really can. The Bears are in a good spot if they keep Fields. They trade Fields and start over. Good luck. Because top quarterbacks that get taken top in the draft, they don't always pan out. At least Fields, you can work with him. There's something there. There's something there. Is he going to be Mahomes? Is he going to be the next one? No, probably not. But at least you got something there you can work with, work on it, give it a chance. So we'll see what the Bears do with that. But like I said, the positive in this scenario is that Justin Fields wants to be a Bear. He wants to be a Bear. So that alone has got to be good. Hey, this guy wants to play for us. He wants to play for our crappy franchise. Like, that's what the owners got to be thinking to themselves. We got a guy who wants to play for us, right? On the offensive side of the ball. Now, we know the Bears' legendary defense, 85 Bears, all stuff like that. But in the modern day, the Chicago Bears have been a complete crap show, and no one wants to play for them. Now they got a guy who wants to play for them. You keep him and work around it. All right. What else we got? Saints rework Derek Carr's new deal, saving $23 million in cap space. Speaking of cap space, the NFL salary cap went up a lot of money. I mean, crazy amount of money. What's the jump? I saw the news on that. I think it went up like 8 or 10 million or something like that. So a bunch of teams out there, they got a little extra cash to play with. Yeah, salary cap rises 30 million to a record $255 million per team. So it went up $30 million. So the Saints saved $23 million on this rework deal with Derek Carr. And so we'll see how that plays out for the New Orleans Saints. Also, news out of Dallas. Mike McCarthy will not attend NFL Scouting Combine. So, why, you say? I don't know. Pretty interesting that Mike won't do anything in his power to make sure that the Dallas Cowgirls won't have another postseason mishap like they did last year. How long until Jerry Jones pulls the trigger? I don't know. So that's news in Dallas world. 49ers is still processing the Super Bowl loss, which tells me that they will not make the playoffs next year. Look, every year there's always a Super Bowl team, either the winner or the loser, usually one team that makes the Super Bowl. The following season they struggle. This season is going to be the 49ers. And I was a little bit tilted towards Kansas City because I thought, well, 5 years in a row, like at some point you're gonna have a mishap. Maybe Joe Burrow's healthy, comes back and beats Patrick Mahomes, or maybe Josh Allen finally figures it out, or maybe Lamar Jackson finally does something, or any one of those teams in the AFC, because the AFC is loaded. You would think the likely scenario would be the 49ers, but just like we thought last year that the likely team could be the Eagles, but they didn't make it. So, if they're still upset over this loss, which they should be, I mean, they completely folded. They choked. They choked. But we're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna go back into that. But if they're still processing this loss, that means they're gonna struggle next year. Because in these type of games, you lose, you got to move on quick. You got to get ready for the next season. So, Chargers offensive coordinator Greg Roman's plan for Justin Herbert is to run the ball. Run the ball. That's the plan. Run the ball, apparently. No, they got to let Justin Herbert air it out, man. This guy's got a big arm. Running the ball, I guess so. Do they still got Austin Heckler and those guys? Heckler's good. When he's on the field, he's good. So, that's that for that. What else we got? Seahawks restructures Geno Smith's contract. Do you remember Geno Smith signed that deal after last season? He got paid already. That's a restructure. So that's that. What else? What else is out there? Wait, is that the guy from the Tannehill, Brissett among Jets backup options behind Aaron Rodgers? So the Jets are looking to add either Ryan Tannehill or Jacoby Brissett. Those are two good options for backup. The backup Aaron Rodgers. That is a good look for the Jets. Jets are gonna be, and I hate to say this because I hate the Jets. Jets are gonna be they're gonna be a team to keep an eye on for sure. They're gonna be a team to keep an eye on. What else we got? think that's it for the NFL. Wait, there's some rumors. Baker Mayfield wants to come back to Tampa, but will he? That's a question that people want to know. Look, Baker Mayfield knows, Tampa gave him a chance. He looks good. So that's that. Should the Patriots trade down or draft a QB wide receiver at number 3? That's been in the news from yesterday. That's a good question. I don't know. We know Patriots Matthew Slater retired from the NFL after 16 years. What a career. Travis Kelce's up in Sydney, Australia, following Taylor Swift, his girlfriend. At some point, maybe some kind of marriage proposal may be in the works. I don't know. What else? I mean, there's a bunch of stuff going on, but not really a bunch of stuff going on. Mitch Keller, San Francisco Pirates. We're diving into the baseball now. Mitch Keller signed a 5-year, $77 million extension. So Keller will be a Pirate, at least under contract for the next 5 years at $77 million. Baseball's here, folks. And if you ain't signed up yet for the fantasy baseball, I haven't decided if I'm gonna do it. I probably won't because I can't keep up with that stuff. I don't have time to be following my fantasy baseball and football teams. I used to do that stuff like 10 years ago. I used to be on it. Ain't got time for this shit now. Honestly, I just don't. Unless I'm in a league that's like everybody I know, family, friends, and it's fun. Maybe, but I don't got time to do it for fun anymore. If I'm going to join a league, it's probably going to be some money involved, to be honest. That might be the only way I'd be invested. I mean, today, now, fantasy sports, I mean, if you're doing it for free today, I mean, you must got a lot of time on your hands, to be honest. Because to do all that research, especially baseball, Jesus. Like, if you playing any fantasy sports today for free, there's something wrong with you. You must got a lot of money. You might be rich. You might just got a lot of time on your hands or something, but nah, no way. Okay, what else from baseball? A lot of stuff was from yesterday. NBA, I heard LeBron's faking injuries again. He didn't play last night. He likely to be back against the Lakers tonight. Against the Spurs tonight. So he ducked the Warriors, but he will possibly show up against the Spurs. Now I don't know if he faked the injury or not. I'm not. I don't know. Some people have said that. Last night, Curry dropped 32 on the Lakers. Yep. There was some conversation going on in the NBA. Some people in the NBA chat room were saying that because I guess Tim Duncan responded to a question about would Jokic just cook him or something like that, some quote. And Tim Duncan pretty much said, "Look, I didn't face him when I was at my best, and he didn't face Joker when Joker was at his prime form, which is now." But I still think Tim Duncan clears Jokic. I mean, Jokic is playing in the weakest era in league history. He's not going up against. He has no resistance. And look, I like Jokic. In this era, he's the best player in the league. But if you dump Jokic in the mid '90s or in the era with the bigs, that '80s '90s era with the bigs, going up against Knightley, you got Ewan, Mourning, David Robinson, Akeem Olajuwon, Shaq. I mean, that's a different type of game. Well, I think Jokic would be a solid player, but he wouldn't be like dominating the league. He just wouldn't, because it's just too much versatility with the bigs back then. a lot of versatility. I mean, today most of the bigs hanging out at the 3-point line. No one really wants to bang in the paint. Or if guys are playing in the post, they're made of glass and they don't play. I mean, these guys were Ironman, Mutombo. Back then, they're playing 80 games, 82 games. They're playing 35, 36, 37, 38 minutes. Every minute on that floor is like you couldn't take no plays off. If you notice today, guys in the NBA can get quick points because of the 3-point line. All around the league. I mean, you can literally play. That's why guys are playing. Guys can play 30 minutes today and still get 25 points because you hit 3-4 threes, you get to the free throw line a bunch of times, you play hard. Out of your 33 minutes, you're probably playing hard like half of that, realistically, unless the game is close and stuff like that. But if it's a blowout or if the lead is out of reach, how hard are these guys playing? I really want to know a metric, if someone can keep a metric, a stat of how hard guys are playing at the minutes that they play, right? Because guys back then played 40 minutes, 38, high 30s. I mean, high 30s and low 40 in the minute range. They play hard pretty much the whole game. But guys today, they're scoring more, they're hitting more threes, and they're playing less minutes, and for the most part. So I'm wondering, out of those 33, 35 minutes, how hard are they playing in those 33, 35 minutes? Are they playing? I would say that they're probably, because when I turn the games on randomly, I see guys just standing around. It's like a one-on-one. It's almost like watching the All-Star game in many NBA games. No defense a lot of times. Guys are watching. So, I don't know. Honestly, I just think no guy today would be a top 5 player in those eras. LeBron, obviously, he's been playing the longest, so LeBron, by proxy, by default, would make a top 5 list, but no one else. The guys the great players, LeBron is the last one, and it's only because he's been around since he was 18. And he's stat padding in a very weak era. He's taking advantage. He knows. He deep down inside knows. And he started it. It's his fault. He softened the league, for sure. He softened the NBA. And maybe that was by design. It's not all his fault, but some of it is his fault because he didn't take the mantle from Kobe, right? Kobe was mentally the toughest player in the league during his time, right? Mentally the toughest. Outworked everybody. And you saw it on game day, right? Even when he struggled, you knew he was in a dogfight. When these guys struggle today, they're out of it. They're done. Kobe could struggle and still find a way to be dangerous to the last second. He would still go all the way to the last second. LeBron's having an off night, team getting blown out. What's LeBron doing? At the end of the bench, he walks out with time left on the clock. The guy's a bitch. And Kobe tried to pass that down to the next generation, the toughness, the mental toughness, the hard work. It just didn't reach. It kind of just went up. And who knows, maybe if Kobe was still alive, he would have been calling guys out more. Maybe the guys would have changed. But there's no voice now. There's no voice today in the NBA. Guys are too busy kissing LeBron's ass because they want to make sure they can get gigs. I don't know. That's my take on it. But anyway, that's it for this episode of the Sports Steady Podcast. Look, follow me on social media at Sports Steady and at Sports Steady Live, Sports Steady TV on YouTube, where the podcast will be posted after it's uploaded to Spotify and Amazon. Sports page run by sports fans. Peace.